We live in an age with a high regard for extraordinary lives. That is, lives that the vast majority of us will never lead. Our heroes have made outsized fortunes, appeared on gigantic screens, and demonstrated unique virtue and talent. Their achievements are both dazzling and, continuously, in the background, humiliating. In the late 1650s, the Dutch artist Johannes Vermeer painted a picture called The Little Street. Doing so was a quiet but momentous and revolutionary act, with an impact that challenges our values to this day. It showed nothing more outwardly impressive than an ordinary street in Vermeer's hometown of Delft. Someone was doing a little sewing, some kids were playing on the stoep, a woman was busy in the yard. It is one of the greatest paintings in the world. Up to this point, the most prestigious cultural works had emphasized the merits and value of aristocratic, military, and religious lives. That is, of lives filled with extraordinary moments and advantages. The great epic poets Homer and Virgil had written of heroic warriors. Renaissance artists had produced magnificent visions of saints and angels. And the routines of kings, queens, and aristocrats were constantly celebrated and held up for admiration on the most prestigious canvases. But Johannes Vermeer went in another direction. He wanted to show us what could be appealing and honourable about very different sorts of activities: sweeping the yard, babysitting, sewing, or, as in his equally significant painting of a kitchen maid, preparing lunch. Several younger Dutch contemporaries joined Vermeer's quiet revolution. One of them, Pieter de Hoogh, focused on almost random moments of the day when nothing particular is going on. He did one picture that depicted a rather well-off merchant's house, but the thing that really interested him was the laundry basket and how the owner of the house and her assistant are folding and putting away towels and bedsheets. This, de Hoogh seems to be telling us, is also the meaning of life, properly understood. Another of Vermeer's followers, Caspar Netscher, admired people doing jobs that were often considered rather boring and lowly, like lace-making, which was fiddly and not very well paid. Netscher couldn't himself alter what people earned, but he was intent on changing how we might feel about those on a modest salary. Although these artists are famous, their works are in the greatest galleries and fetch enormous prices if they come up at auction, their tentative revolution hasn't as yet properly succeeded. Today, in modern versions of epic, aristocratic or divine art, adverts and movies continually explain to us the appeal of things like sports cars, tropical island holidays, fame, first-class air travel, and expansive limestone kitchens. The attractions are often perfectly real, but the cumulative effect is to instill in us the idea that a good life is built around elements that almost no one can afford. The conclusion we too easily draw is that our lives are close to worthless. Vermeer, for his part, was insisting that ordinary life is heroic in its own way, because ordinary-sounding things are very far from easy to manage. There is immense skill and true nobility involved in bringing up a child to be a reasonably independent and balanced adult, in maintaining a good enough relationship with a partner over many years, despite areas of extreme difficulty, in keeping a home in reasonable order, in doing a not very exciting or well-paid job responsibly and cheerfully, in listening properly to another person, and, in general, in not succumbing to madness or rage at the paradox and compromises involved in being alive. Vermeer was not claiming that everything ordinary was invariably impressive. He was merely directing us with grace to the idea that there are a host of things that we too often ignore and that happen to be both ordinary and good. With extraordinary talent, Vermeer was convincing us of an idea we should dare to hold on to in the face of immense pressures to imagine that we should be elsewhere and living very differently, that there is already much to appreciate and venerate in our lives when we learn to see them without prejudice or self-hatred.
If you liked this film, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to turn on notifications.